I gotta move my knee. I gotta do it. There it is. My knee's fixed. Right? Huh? Let's see here. You guys know me. I gotta wait for it to load here. There we go. YouTube is coming to life. Good morning, YouTube. Or good afternoon. You know the drill. You know how it goes. Up, Rockfin. Rockfin's dancing. Beautiful. We're live. What's up, everybody? So this is the patron slash Rockfin Premium stream. This is the stream where I respond directly to the Rockfin Premium members and patrons. And the replay of this stream is only available on Rockfin Premium or Patreon. It goes out to everybody. So you're catching it live now. There's always somebody in one of the two chats going, I'm not a patron, but I'm watching this. Rod, you're so stupid. This stream isn't on private. You're so stupid. No, it goes out to everybody on purpose at first, but the replay is only available on Patreon and Rockfin Premium. Stream initially goes out to everyone. Everybody is welcome. I'm crashing this party. No, you're not. You were invited. That's got to be a weird vibe, right? Would anyone do that in real life? I don't think they would. They do it online. But I don't think anyone, like, if they show up to a party, like, I'm crashing, huh? I'm getting one over on you. No, you're invited. I am. But I can't have fun unless I feel like I'm doing something I shouldn't and I'm hurting somebody else. Not hurting, but you know what I mean. Like, I need to feel, I need to feel like I'm doing something shitty. I can't have fun otherwise. I need to feel like I'm doing. No, you're invited to this party. Get something to eat. Help yourself to some food. You mean I'm not stealing this? No, it's you're welcome to it. I'm not stealing this food if I take some? No. Well, then I'm not as into it anymore. I want to feel like I'm taking something from a stranger for no reason. I want to feel that person would be like the least likable person at the party. You know what I mean? That they're invited to. Anyway, you get the idea. This goes out to everyone at first. The replay. People watching this later are like, dude, we're okay. All right, let's see. You guys are very music centric. By the way, patrons, you guys are very music centric this week, which I am thrilled about. Oh, first of all, some quick announcements. You might be wondering, Ron, it's a little early. Usually the patron stream is typically on Thursday or Sunday. Today it's on, or this week rather, it's on Wednesday. What's going on there? Well, I got a little bit of personal things going on for the rest of the week, so I'm not going to be around as much. Plus, my movie trailer, folks. God willing, I'll make the announcement here now. Although, man, I'm nervous. But if all goes as planned, I'm going to have a big announcement on Monday. Fingers crossed, toes crossed. Monday, big announcement. Regarding my movie. And I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm a little scared. I've never made a movie before. I've never casted a movie before. I've never self-directed before. I actually, now that I think about it, I never wrote a full screenplay before. I've written pilots. I've written a lot of pilots, but I've never written a full screenplay. I mean, pilots, specs, I've written all those. Monologues, written many of those. But this was my first actual full length. And it's all firsts. But I got to make this thing. I got the idea for this story and I talked to some people about it and they all said, well, clearly you really want to do this and I think you should. And I think this has got to happen. And I said, okay, duly noted. And that's where we're at. So hopefully Monday, the trailer will be released to the world. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, but I'm thinking Monday, the trailer's going to be released and there's going to be a lot of news around it. And all I can say right now, I can't freaking wait for you guys to see it. I really can't. And I'll probably drop it earlier for patrons and Rockfin Premium members. So Rockfin Premium patrons, you're going to get to see it before anybody else. So there you go. You're going to get to see it first. But hopefully everybody sees it on Monday. And by the way, if you're thinking of becoming a patron and you're not right now and you're tuning in live, patreon.com/romplacone. For a give what you can level, even $1 a month goes a long way. Get all kinds of exclusive perks. You get the replay of this stream and all patron streams. I do a patron Zoom show pretty much every week. With the summer, we've been, skipping some days here and there. But for the most part, I do a patron Zoom show every single week. Summer's been making it a little more difficult because folks haven't been able to tune in as much. The weather's good. I get it. But yeah, patron Zoom show every week, and I'll make you a theme song. I just dropped another theme song today. Today, another theme song dropped. So if that is of interest and you are on stable ground financially, patreon.com/romplacone. I do not have tiers, TIERS, on my Patreon. No tiers. Everybody gets all the same stuff for a give what you can level. All right, announcements are out of the way. I'll mention tour dates later. In the meantime, check this out. This is from Nina. Nina, I hope all is well up in Canada. I hope everything is going fantastic. And Nina, you say Jimi Hendrix recording of early Joni Mitchell performance in Ottawa Coffee House is to be released. His diary reads, "Arrived in Ottawa, beautiful hotel, strange people." That's what Jimi Hendrix said. Then Nina says, "I can personally attest to that and offer myself as Exhibit A." Exhibit A? Huh? See what I did there? Canada? We did that. We did that together. Love it. All right. Let's go to this. So I can't play the music because of copyright potential problems. The Don Tender will appear in Mitchell's Archives Volume 2 box set. So in a well-documented bit of Ottawa music history, March 1968 saw 24-year-old Joni Mitchell take the stage at La Hibu Coffee House with Jimi Hendrix. God, he was in the audience. How badass is that? Hendrix was in town for shows of his own, and he had brought a reel-to-reel tape recorder to capture Mitchell's two performances. And audio from the evening, once thought to be lost, has now surfaced. Mitchell's performance of the Dawn Treader, taken from Hendrix's tape, can be heard below. It's one of the many archival pieces that you will now see released as part of the Joni Mitchell Archives Volume 2, the reprise years, set for release on October 29th through Rhino. So October 29th, coming out this fall. So I guess Jimi Hendrix didn't really play on it. He just recorded it. I wonder if he does commentary. Like, hey, this is Jimi Hendrix here. I'm recording Joni Mitchell. That's like, Jimi Hendrix is the original podcaster. Did you guys know that? Can you believe that? Breaking news on Get Your News On with Ron. Jimi Hendrix, the original podcaster. He was just like, I'm here at the La Hibu. I'm probably mispronouncing that. La Hibu Coffee House here in Ottawa. Just rocking out, man. I'm here for some shows. What was that other thing he said? Nice place, strange people. Beautiful hotel, strange people. That's a Jimi Hendrix quote. And I'm gonna be recording some Joni Mitchell. Joni Mitchell's gonna be laying it down. For those of you who aren't familiar with Joni, you can check out her work. Either you have to go to a record store or go see her live at a city near you. The internet has not been invented yet. I cannot give you her Twitter handle. I cannot give you her social medias. None of that stuff's invented yet. I'm Jimi Hendrix. It's 1968. God, that sounds better, doesn't it? Wouldn't you, man? I mean, it's weird to think about because in so many ways, the internet has really revolutionized our way to communicate, and it has really opened up the door for so many people to kind of find their lane in a way that wasn't available before. But on other notes, like man, there's a certain beautiful simplicity in just passing out flyers and showing up in a town. All that stuff does still happen, but I mean, there's such an overload of information that now it's tweeting and videos and shorts and this and that and blah 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 blah. And sometimes it's overload, says the guy who, relies on a free and open internet and fights for it as part of the mission of his show. So I get it. But, um, so thank you for that. Yeah, we can't play you know what I'll do? Because 'Cause I'm sure some of you are curious to hear what they dropped part of this online. What I will do, I can't play it, but what I will do is I'll drop the link in the Rockfin chat and in the YouTube chat. So there you go, YouTube, and there you go, Rockfin. And I'll get to the chat here in just a second. Edwin, what's up, buddy? Another music centric thing that I'm excited about. Edwin says, I'm seeing reports that Pearl Jam, not necessarily excited, just excited to talk about it. I don't know, it's fun. Edwin, you say, and I hope you're well, Edwin. I'm seeing reports that Pearl Jam, I've heard of them, is performing at Obama's birthday celebration, while others say they are not. Have you seen any news on this? I really hope Pearl Jam is not playing. Um, Last I heard, they were. I mean, I heard Obama. Now, I heard Obama is scaling back his celebration. I don't. I guess maybe it's like such a slap in the face to to regular people. Like he's having it on like a crazy estate, and Pearl Jam's playing, and I think, like, wasn't it announced that he's having this crazy elaborate birthday party just as, like, the eviction moratorium was set to expire? Like, it was, like, on the same day. Like, those were, like, the some of the leading news stories. "Hey, the eviction moratorium's about to expire. Obama's having a big bash. Isn't that great, plebs? Live vicariously through Obama's birthday party." But last I heard, Pearl Jam was playing. Um, I don't know if that's still true. I don't know if that's not true. Um, I don't really have much of a take on it. I'll be honest with you. I don't care. I mean, Pearl Jam. I'm personally not a huge Pearl Jam fan. Um, it's just not my cup of tea. And honestly, when I see musicians who I think have good intentions, like I think like Bruce Springsteen when he did a podcast with Obama, I think his heart's in the right place. He's just kind of a product of American society, like so many people are. I don't think Obama, or excuse me, Bruce Springsteen was like, I like Barack Obama because he dropped more bombs than Bush. I think like Bruce Springsteen's heart is in the right place. I think Pearl Jam's heart is in the right place. It's just in our contemporary American society, we are taught blue no matter who, Republican or Democrat, one side is good, one side is not, and that's just the duopoly. And, that's the wrong way to be because if you keep going lesser of two evils, they keep getting more and more evil. That's how it works. But when I see stuff like that, when I see, musicians who I like and respect, who I think that in principle and in theme are kind of right on the same in the same have the same principles as I do, and I see them just subscribing to politicians. I don't get angry at the individual. I get angry at the system where we don't have an Overton window that's further yet. And it kind of motivates me to um try to do everything I can to try to push that, to try to push it in a better direction where, a lot of people they see the problem with blue no matter who. They see the problem with allegiance to a party over people. They see the problem with just sort of passively accepting someone with a D next to their name without really looking at what they're about and what they're actually going to do. And asking, is this really representing working people? When we have two parties and Wall Street owns both of them, does anybody really represent working people? So I don't get angry at the individual. I get angry at the system. And I want to do everything I can to change that system so that, you know, so that people like a Bruce Springsteen or like a Pearl Jam or insert whoever here, whether it be a person or a musician or a celebrity or whatever else, they feel like, no, I don't, the duopoly is not for me. I support these things. I support direct actions. I support strikes. I support, um, candidates from a viable alternative party. Um, that's kind of the world I would like to see. So I get mad at the system, not the individuals, when I have reason to think that the individuals are well intentioned. So, you know, that's my take on it. You know, and also, again, not a big Pearl Jam guy. So, like, completely indifferent on every level. If they play it, what are you going to do? If they don't, eh, I mean, whatever. I don't know much about their politics. I mean, I'm assuming I'm assuming they are just well intentioned, but whatever. Same with Springsteen. I mean, look, Bruce Springsteen, that's a guy who would go from city to city and he would get booed. I've seen it. I've seen it live a couple times. Bruce Springsteen would go and he would promote food banks wherever he was performing in every city. And for some reason, people thought like that was promoting a political agenda. Helping hungry people is political, but apparently. So half of his audience would just boo him. And he didn't care. He just did it anyway. He kept going. And he would make political statements that were mostly thematic. They weren't necessarily supporting a particular candidate. They were more thematic in nature that were right on. And he would say it anyway, and he didn't care if he got booed for it. And I grew up with some people who worked for the food bank, some family friends, and they would tell me, they told my family once that every year they look forward to Bruce Springsteen's show when he comes to town, not just because they're fans of the music, but because they see a huge upswing in food and donations every time he would come, every time he would play. And food banks all around the country saw that because of him, because he would promote it at his shows and he would make a contribution himself. So, I mean, look, does that mean that I don't think, that I just agree with the guy's take on Obama? Well, probably not. I'm not a fan of Obama, but I don't think his intentions are ill. I think that's somebody with good intentions who means well. And what I would rather see is a society where somebody with those intentions is more drawn to a better politics. And that would involve giving people more than two Wall Street owned choices. So I guess that's the tomorrow I want to see. But I'm more inclined to blame systems, not individuals. Those are my thoughts. And that's why, I don't necessarily freak out over the political acumen of musicians all that much. I mean, if they have like terrible takes, like in principle, that's a different story. That's sort of, like Morrissey's kind of lost his mind in recent years. And as somebody who loves the Smiths music and loves Morrissey's solo music, it's been pretty cringy to hear him give some of his takes in recent years where you're just like, oh God, really? Dude, you said, oh, all right, dude. Wow. Okay. But yeah. Anyway, so that's my take on it. I don't know if they're playing though. I've always been more of a Nirvana guy. And everybody wonders what Kurt Cobain would have been like politically had he lived. And you know, I don't really have any deep thoughts on that. I don't really see the value in bickering over what the politicals views might be of somebody who died decades ago. But if you want to base it on what Kurt Cobain did when he was alive, when Kurt Cobain was alive, and this was the early to mid 90s, during a time where everybody was wetting themselves over Bill Clinton, during a time where the new Democrats were coming in, Kurt Cobain identified as a socialist. So that's what he was doing back in the early 90s. So I would like to think, had the guy lived, he would be a pretty big lefty. I guess you never know. I mean, Chris Novoselic went on to become a straight up libertarian. So who knows? Who knows like how people change and evolve as they get older or as they experience the world. But based on what he did when he was alive, I think, I'd be willing to say he's likely to be a lefty. Do I know for sure? Of course, no one does. I don't know. Someone got into that with me on Twitter once, and they were like, "Ron, he'd be a sellout neo-lib." Based on what? The guy died in 1995. How do you know? Because he was successful? That's what there's plenty of successful people who aren't quote neo-libs. There's plenty. Susan Sarandon's not. Why would you assume that? I'm basing my guess off of what he did when he was alive. You're basing yours off of nothing. Like nothing. Like you have no basis on that. Like there's nothing he did when he was alive that would indicate he would like be, some neo-lib cappuccino conservative. We got to bring that back. So there's no indication that Kurt Cobain would have been a cappuccino conservative, celebrating Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. There's no evidence pointing to that being the case. At least if there is, I don't know about it. But there is, to the contrary, the fact that in the early to mid 90s, he was saying, I'm a socialist. That points to he might have, gone on to be a pretty big lefty. If he was already there 30 years ago. He was there 30 years ago. How many people were saying, I'm a socialist in the contemporary United States in the early to mid 90s? I'm going to guess not many. Kurt Cobain was. And he was doing it publicly to publications. When they were given the cover of Rolling Stone, he wore a t-shirt that said, corporate magazines still suck. So if you're going to base it on what he did when he was alive, he'd probably be a lefty. If you're going to base it on, I just want to be contrarian on Twitter for no reason, maybe he wouldn't have been. I don't know. And maybe he wouldn't have been anyway. Who knows? People change. Maybe he would have, I don't know. Maybe he would have gone Republican. Maybe Kurt Cobain would have gone Republican. And he would have sang Something in the Way and directed it at the Republicans that the Tea Party didn't like. But anyway, I don't know. I just said it's kind of pointless to kind of go all around about these things while I myself am kind of talking about it. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. And I always thought it'd be fun to do like a collage of music where I enjoy the music, even though like politically I'm completely in disagreement with their ideas. You know what I mean? Like the band Cracker comes to mind. I'm a big fan of David Lowry's music, but he's anti-net neutrality. We have a lot of disagreements politically. Danzig, Glenn Danzig. So I guess the Misfits too. Although I don't know the political views of the other Misfits. I don't know where Jerry Only's at. But that would be that'd be fun. Just like Smashing Pumpkins. Although Billy Corgan, it's like, I don't know. Billy Corgan's just kind of hard to put that guy in a box, politically or otherwise, Billy Corgan. But anyway, so Jimi Hendrix, what would he have done if he had lived? Would Jimi Hendrix would have run for office. No, who knows? Wouldn't that be nuts if Jimi Hendrix freaking ran for office? And then he just lit his campaign posters on fire. Huh? That'd be cool. Anyway, I don't think Jimi Hendrix would have run for office. It'd be a waste of talent if he did. Let's see. Let me go to the chat and see what you guys were saying. Oh wait, no, I have one more thing. Never mind. Hold that thought. We're not. One more thing. Nina. Oh, check it out. This should come to the surprise to nobody. U.S. healthcare system ranks last. amongst 7 high-income countries. Canada ranks second to last. Canada, what's going on? Nina, what are you guys doing? I bet there's a lot of, distance, though, between last and second to last. If I had to take a guess, I bet there's a lot of distance between. But let's take a look at this. So check this out, y'all. By the way, for anyone just tuning in, this is the patron stream where I just respond directly to the patrons and I'm seeing everything for the first time and we just kind of chat it up. If you have any thoughts, please feel free to leave a Rockfin tip or a super chat. I appreciate it very much and you help keep the show on the air. And I'll be going to the chat here in a few minutes. And yeah, it's just laid back and chill. We just talked about Kurt Cobain from Pearl Jam. Is Pearl Jam playing Obama's birthday party? I don't know. My invitation got lost in the mail. Let's go crash it. What if we all crashed Obama's birthday party? What if we let's do it. And they're like, "Hey, you can't be here." And we could say, "Yes, we can." And then help ourselves to whatever they're serving there for food. Yeah, unicorn tears, whatever it is. Um I don't understand the appeal of hills to rich people. I really don't get that. Saying this as someone who lives in the Los Angeles area, a lot of people with exorbitant amounts of wealth, they live nestled up in the hills, and I'm just like, what? Do you hate poor people that much? Like, it's like I used to. I was around a lot of rich people when I first moved to Los Angeles. Because when I first moved to Los Angeles, I was a pet sitter and dog walker by day. So some of our clients had a lot of means, some more than others. Not everyone was like crazy rich, but if you can afford to have someone walk your dog for you in a place like Los Angeles, you got a few bucks, right? Especially some of these people, they didn't even work. They just didn't feel like walking their dog. So I did it. That felt kind of weird. I'd show up and they would just be sitting there. I'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" I'd be like, "You okay?" They're like, "Yeah, I don't want to sweat. You take them for a walk." I'm like, do you actually love this animal?" I I I don't want to generalize, but I think, and I'm basing this off of experiences in my life. I think that if you are an animal, um, if you're an animal, for all the dogs and cats listening to this stream and comprehending the words I'm saying, um, but I feel like if you have a really rich guardian, in some ways you're kind of missing out because, and again, I'm basing this off on my experience. I'm not trying to overgeneralize, but if this generalization offends you, sorry. But some of the really rich people that I've known in my life, um, they don't know how to be a good friend. They don't know, um, because everything's about acquiring more wealth, and they kind of grew up around that. They're not very genuine people. And again, these are people who grew up with a lot of wealth, who I've just encountered in my life. And so that being said, they don't really give genuine love to an animal. Like I'm sure they love their pets just like everybody else, but they don't see walking their dog as bonding time and a special thing. They see it as just a chore that they don't feel like doing, so they'll pay someone else to do it. Or in like an extreme case here, you're like the Romney family where you will put your dog in a roof rack and drive, which is something the Romney family did. They put their dog in a one of those like roof rack things in a car and they drove. That's cruel. That's animal cruelty. So I think like you're better off with like someone who can provide everything you need, provide your vet care, provide your food, provide a quality of life for you, but maybe isn't swimming in money. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you're gonna get this. My cat knows how loved she is. I really do believe that Lucy, and I'm not a rich man. I'm far from it, but my cat Lucy, she knows how loved she is. I firmly believe that. I mean, I believe that our cats and dogs, they know how loved they are. By the way, that video is going to come out. Cats are just as loyal to as dogs. I will argue this with anyone. They just show their loyalty in a different way. And this video is not going to be an anti-dog video because I love dogs. I love cats too. And I feel like sometimes cats get a bad rap because their loyalty is not as on the surface as a dog's is. And it's fine to prefer one over the other. There's no problem with that. Some people prefer dogs, some prefer cats. That's totally fine. I love them both. I do have a slight preference to cats, but I love them both. I want to have both. Right now, Lucy's the queen of the castle here. But anyway, I am going to make that video. So there's that. Oh, wait, let's get to this. All right, so let's see this. I don't know how we got off on pets, but I'm here for it. U.S. comes in last in healthcare rankings of high-income countries. This is from CNN even. The U.S. once again ranked last in access to healthcare, equity, and outcomes. So in every area, they freaking came in last. So let's see what the rankings were here. So here, the rankings include Australia, Canada, France, Germany, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, and the UK. So is there a listing here? Let's see. Nina, you pointed out that Canada came second to last out of all those countries. So I don't see like the actual listing here that says, let's see if there's a list here. Outcome. Oh, a new report here. Let's see if they just give a list. Okay, here we go. Here, let me show this to y'all. Boom. Here's the list. Here, we'll go to the little picture graph that they got here. Little jobby, little picture jobby. Here we go. Healthcare performance, overall, Australia, Canada, and this isn't necessarily in order. So Norway got first, UK got fourth, Netherlands got second. Here, let's go to the here's the chart. So check that out. I'm still showing it to you guys, right? Yeah, I am. Okay, good. Look at look at how distant the US is to everyone else. Wow. Look at this. So everyone's relatively close. Like, yes, as you pointed out, Nina, and I know you live up in Canada. Canada did finish second to last. But look at the huge drop off between everyone else and the United States. So Norway in this study finished first, which is interesting because for years, according to the WHO, France was first. Norway, Netherlands, Australia, and then below them, UK, Germany, New Zealand, and then Sweden, France, Switzerland. And everyone's pretty close to neck and neck. And then Canada, you're getting a little lower there with Canada. And then the US, oh, like, look at this drop. It's like it's a small flight of stairs, and then the US is like the cliff at the bottom. That's hilarious. I love it. Good old USA. Last with a freaking bullet. Bullets, by the way, those are easier to get than healthcare. US, I like that. I like that. The USA, when it comes to healthcare, we're last with a bullet. By the way, bullets, easier to get than healthcare. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Nina. I'm not surprised at all. We came in last. I'm not surprised at all. We came in a distant last. We're number one in shitty outcomes. When it comes to horrible outcomes, the U.S. is crushing it. Let's see. Here's the only thing where we kind of did okay was in care process. Everything else, administrative efficiency, equity, healthcare outcomes, access to care, we're like terrible. Care process, we did okay. What that says to me is that we have good doctors. Our doctors know what they're doing. We have good resources. Just the system around it is freaking terrible. That's what that's saying. The doctors aren't the problem. The care that's available is not the problem. The access to it's the problem. The equity is the problem. The system around it's the problem. And that makes shitty outcomes. That's what that tells you. And that is so telling. What that says to me is that the USA has the resources to have some of the best healthcare in the frickin' world. But instead, we have the worst in any developed nation. We have the worst healthcare outcomes in any developed nation. And it's not because we don't have the resources. It's because of the system around it. Amazing. Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Nina. And Canada, you're lagging behind a little bit. Nothing compared to the U.S., though. Good thing the U.S. is still there to, to not make you guys look bad. Anyway, so let me see here what y'all are saying. Oh, I got another game. I'm going to go over to the Rockfin first. Alexander, how are you, buddy? I got another one. Oh, this is a little tougher for me. And admittedly, these are bands that I'm not super hip to, but here's your challenge for this week. So for anyone who's not in the know, who's not a regular patron stream, Rockfin Premium stream viewer, Alexander always gives me a task where I am tasked with 3 music artists that have some kind of relation in like name or style of name, like INXS or NoFX, that kind of thing. And I have to pick my favorite. This one's a little tougher. Let's see here. Kings of Leon, Queens of the Stone Age, or the Dukes of Stratosphere. Admittedly, I'm not familiar with the Dukes of Stratosphere's music. I'm just not familiar with them. I've heard the name, but I'm not familiar. Queens of the Stone Age, I only know the obvious hits. And I do not enjoy their music all that much. Queens of the Stone Age, I just find them to be a little just too 90s rock formulaic. And when I say that, I don't mean I love 90s music overall, but some of like the radio rock, it just was like so formulaic, and I feel like they're just the newest inception of that. And I had a hard time getting into Queens of the Stone Age. I only know the hits, so maybe their deep cuts is a little different. I don't know. So there you go. Sorry, I'm not a Queens of the Stone Age guy. And so I'm gonna have to go with Kings of Leon or Leon, however I forget how they say it. But I'm not a big fan of them either. Again, I know the hits, and that's about it. But some of their hits are kind of fun to like Your Sex is on Fire. That's a fun song. Who cannot get into that? I enjoy it. So I don't have much to. I'm gonna have to go to Kings of Leon, but a lot of it is just lack of knowledge on this one. One time, when I was in Nashville, Tennessee, during my college years doing an internship, my co-intern was telling me a story at a bar he was in the other night, and he was in a bar, and there was this band there who thought they were very cool, and they were total dicks to him. And he told me a story, and I said, you know what, man, don't worry about it, because I have a feeling those guys aren't going anywhere. Who was the band? Kings of Leon. I was wrong on that one. Apparently they were dicks to my friend at a bar once. I don't remember the details, and who knows? Maybe they were, I think we've all made mistakes when we've been intoxicated at a bar before. I'm sure that, if there were various snapshots of all of us at a bar, we might not consider it our finest hour. So who knows? Maybe it was a bad night for whatever reason. Maybe it wasn't even them, who knows? But allegedly they were dicks to a friend of mine at a bar once. And I did say that. I did say, you know what, man, I have a feeling, because they were starting to blow up in town at this point. But they weren't super big nationally yet. And they obviously that changed. And I was like, I have a feeling they're not going anywhere. I was off on that one. There were 2 bands when I was first in Nashville, and this was during my college days. there were two bands that were really starting to blow up in the city. One of them was Kings of Leon. Someone pointed out in the chat, Leon is, I guess, how they say it. Kings of Leon. Kings of Leon. And the other one was the Pink Spiders. I personally preferred the music of the Pink Spiders. And Pink Spiders didn't really, they ended up breaking up. Kings of Leon did not. And Kings of Leon ended up blowing up. And, Pink Spiders didn't. And the label that I interned for, there were two artists that they were pushing, kind of hard, that were kind of like the apples in their eye, so to speak. I mean, they all of their clients were treated well, but there were two artists in particular that they were really pushing. One was a guy named Carrie Ott, and the other was a guy named Brett Dennen. Carrie went on to have a decent career in his own right. He's still doing really well. He's a professional songwriter, and he's a friend of the show. He's actually been on, not this show, but the show I had before this, when I had my radio show in Nashville, back when I lived there again as an adult. Carrie was on the show. Really fun guest, really fun to talk to, and I love his music. I recommend checking him out. But Brett Dennen ended up having more mainstream success than Carrie did. And I enjoy Brett Dennen's music too. Actually, it's kind of it's definitely poppy, and you can see why it had some mainstream appeal, and it's very classic rock throwbacky. But it's I don't know, they're just enjoyable songs. At least I enjoy them. Some of them, I don't know all his music, but the songs I know I've enjoyed. So Brett Dennen, and then later that same label discovered a little band called the Lumineers, and I'm assuming things changed for them after that. This was years after my internship, but they discovered a little band called the Lumineers, and the hipster Billy revival thing was really interesting to me. I mean, I was in the capital of it at the time. I was in Nashville, and it was interesting because it's like that stuff had been around for so long. And then the country kind of came to it, and it's all cultural things from the American South. But it's that's what they're doing in Silver Lake now. And it was interesting to me as somebody who lived in Nashville. I lived in Nashville for a couple years. I came to California in 2016, and when I came to Los Angeles, and I went to I would hang out in Silver Lake and stuff like that. I lived in Silver Lake when I first moved to town. I would kind of think, man, this was going on in Nashville a couple years ago, and it's just hitting Silver Lake now. Who really sets the trends in this country? Is it really the LAs and the New Yorks? I don't think it is. I think it's the college towns. I think it's the Olympia, Washingtons. I think it's places like Austin, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Detroit, Michigan, Athens, Georgia. I think those are the places that really set the trends. And in New York and Los Angeles sometimes find themselves catching up to them. Not always. There's some amazing things that have happened in New York and LA. Don't get me wrong. But, a lot of things, especially in music, can be traced back to elsewhere. Memphis. And, that's interesting to me. It really is. But there you go. So, Alexandra, you point out here, Dukes of Stratosphere was Ecstasy's psychedelic alter ego. They have 2 albums. No kidding. I got to write that. Shit, I don't have a pen. I'll take a screenshot instead. I got to check them out. I'm going to take a screenshot of this so I can check them out. Thank you for that. Dukes of Stratosphere. I've never listened to them. Thank you for helping to expand my palette. And thank you for the challenge. I love those challenges. I look forward to them every week. Hopefully next week I'll be more insightful. Give me an easy one next week. Because unfortunately those were 3 that just weren't in my range, Alexander. Not in my range, just not in my wheelhouse. I'm sure it's all great music. I just, Queens of the Stone Age, I just never really connected with. Music's subjective. What are you gonna do? So thank you for that. Podcast by George. What's up? Good to see you. Podcast by George. Hendrix would not have run for office. He would have been like Jesus looking at the Roman coin. Yeah, I don't think he would have either. Jimi Hendrix would not have run for office. But, you can't help. You always wonder like what some of these some of these rock stars would have done had they lived. And you wonder like what if they would have done something totally ridiculous. Where it's like what if you would have seen Janis Joplin in a freaking car commercial? Like an older Janis Joplin, like dressed up as a soccer mom or something, just being like, I really like my minifan. Buy it. And you're like, that's Janis Joplin. No. And who knows? That could have happened. Love Janis Joplin though. So it's interesting to think about. But when you die young, people will always be left to wonder. And of course, Janis Joplin, part of the 27 curse, can be traced back to Robert Johnson, one of the kings of the Delta blues. And then it moved on to Janis Joplin, to Jim Morrison, to Jimi Hendrix, all three of them dead at 27. And then later, in a more recent generation, Kurt Cobain and Amy Winehouse. Now, I don't think Shannon Hoon was 27. I think he was a little older. And I think Bradley Knoll was also not 27. Shannon Hoon. Yeah, now I got to know. Death, age. He was 28. So Shannon Hoon was 28. And I want to say that Bradley Knoll from Sublime was also 28. So they just missed it. How old? Bradley Knoll, death, age. How old was he when he died? He was also 28. Bradley Knoll and Shannon Hoon just missed it. And someone said they died on the same day. Did they? Well, they didn't die on the exact same day because they didn't die on the same year. But Bradley Knoll died on May 25th. What day did Shannon Hoon die? Oh, where is it? Why is it not coming up? Here, let me. No, they didn't die on this. Did they? Yeah, no, it was not the same day. I mean, well, it couldn't be like the same day because it's not the same year, but it's not the same day of a different year. Interesting though. Yeah, there you go. And someone also included Brian Jones, also part of the 27 curse. Yes, that is true. That is very true. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in here today. I appreciate it very much. Laura, thank you very much for the Rockfin tip. You give a heart and you say awesome. And why do I think Nina Turner lost? Okay. I know people have been really going at each other's throats on Twitter about this all day. First of all, even though I think the Democratic Party is a dead end road, and I think we need to work towards a viable alternative and changing the system so that a viable alternative is possible, I still see the value in someone like Nina Turner winning. So I wanted Nina Turner to win, even though I am not enthusiastic about the strategy of Dem entering. Why would I still want to see Nina Turner win if I'm not a Dem enter person? Because for a viable third party to be successful, first of all, if you get in, it's not like it's cast in stone that you're a Democrat forever. So someone like a Nina Turner could always switch teams, first of all. Second of all, for something like a viable third party to be successful, you're going to need to have some alliances of people already in office. So for a third party to be successful, we're better off if someone like a Nina Turner is in office already as opposed to not being, because those are potential allies and potential alliances. So that's why I think it makes perfect sense to, even if you're not a Dem enter person, to still want to see Nina Turner win. No one's gaining anything if she loses, but there is a lot to be gained if she wins. So I was disappointed she lost. Why do I think she lost? I think she lost because of a ton of dark money and GOP money and lobbying money for her opponent. And they ran millions and, I think to my knowledge, millions of dollars, according to what Jordan Chariton was reporting, and he was on the ground right there in Cleveland. They ran attack ad after attack ad on Nina Turner, saying that she's not a safe bet. She wouldn't be able to beat a Republican. She's too left, blah, blah, blah. And it was successful. It was successful. That's what I think defeated Nina Turner. A hyper-focused on that district attack campaign that had tons and tons of dark money behind it. That's why I think Nina Turner lost. I don't think Nina Turner lost because of the People's Party. In fact, actually, I'm pretty certain the People's Party was the first organization to write in support of Nina Turner's candidacy. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's the case. So I don't think Nina Turner lost because of Jill Stein. I don't think it's a bad. People are still blaming her for stuff. She wasn't even the most recent nominee for nominee for president for the Green Party. Somehow it's still her fault, but I don't think it's her fault that Nina Turner lost. I don't think it's the fault of lefties who spend time outside of electoralism and spend energy outside of electoralism. I don't think it's their fault, which, by the way, I'm describing myself in this case. I'm falling into that category. I don't think it's their fault that Nina Turner lost. It takes all kinds of folks, and we all have our lanes. And if your lane is in electoralism, that's fine. You're allowed to make that choice. There's nothing wrong with that. We need people to be inside of electoralism. I wish we didn't, but we do. If your lane's outside of electoralism, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. And, if you have a finite amount of money and resources, as we all do, and you'd rather spend your time giving money to a mutual aid effort as opposed to a federal candidate, there is nothing wrong with that. And you should feel no shame for that. That's what I do. And I'm not saying everyone has to do what I do, or I'm any better or worse than anyone else. I'm saying what I do. And what I do is when I have money to give, it goes to an organization, a cause, or a mutual aid effort. That's where it goes. Because I know exactly where I know when I give money to the Street Watch LA, South Bay mutual aid effort, I know it is going directly to putting a toothbrush in someone's hand who needs one, to putting a pair of socks on somebody's feet who needs it, to making sure someone has a meal that day who might not have otherwise. And these are people who live in my frickin' neighborhood. So that's where my money goes. Or it goes to an organization who is fighting for causes that I believe in, and I know that they're fighting for those causes. An organization like Fight for the Future or other digital rights organizations, or a Bell Fund to support protesters. That's where my money goes. And if my money goes to electoralism, it's going to go to somebody local. Because I see more value in trying to take our cities back than I do in electoralism at the federal level. I'm not saying I'm against it. I recognize it's still part of the toolkit for change. But I feel that my energy and resources are better spent elsewhere. If that's not your choice, that is fine. That is totally fine. But don't blame somebody who that's their lane. And I can tell you what, as someone who was privileged enough, and I consider myself very fortunate to be able to say this, I was part of 2 campaigns that I would say were pretty successful. I was part of a national campaign for net neutrality. Shortly after our campaign, a bunch of states passed net neutrality bills, and we're probably going to get it passed on the federal level, or get it back, rather, on the federal level. I was also part of a campaign to ban facial recognition. That is increasing constantly throughout not just the United States, but the world. So, I've been part of campaigns that I would say were relatively successful. And I can tell you that when you talk to boots on the ground activists, they don't bicker about such a thing. They don't say, "Oh man, why aren't people helping us instead of supporting why people should be helping us instead of supporting candidates." They don't do that. I've never seen that happen. I've never seen somebody who is committed to a cause, whatever it may be, complain that other people direct their efforts towards electoralism. And honestly, they probably have a more valid gripe because all too often people put all their eggs in the electoralism basket and neglect the other stuff that would actually really change things in your community and in this country. So, if anything, they should be the ones complaining a little more like, gee, instead of people throwing so much money at this campaign, I wish a little more came our way because, we're really, we're the boots on the ground here. We're the ones that really fight to make sure that the politicians do what they're supposed to. So, you know, yeah, I don't think that it's any of those groups' faults that Nina Turner lost. I think it's because, look, the DNC spent $50 million, $50 million defeating progressive challengers. They'll spend 50 million more if they feel like they have to. There you go. That's why Nina Turner lost. That's why Nina Turner lost. So that's my answer. That and Jill Stein. It's her fault. Jill Stein and Susan Sarandon also. It was their fault. DNC, Jill, neck and neck, really. So yeah. I mean, it's very close. It's DNC, then Susan Sarandon in a close second. In fact, it's not specifically Susan Sarandon. It's Susan Sarandon's self-taped audition for a to be mentioned series name. It's Hillary Clinton saw that video and then said, "I shouldn't go." Susan Sarandon gave such a powerful monologue because she was playing a character, and the goal of the character was to encourage people not to go to Michigan or Wisconsin. And Susan did it so well because she's such a talented actress that Hillary Clinton said, "I'm not going to go to these places." That we all know what happened next. And recently, Susan Sarandon had this other audition, another random audition, where the goal of Susan Sarandon was to tell people in Cleveland, specifically in Cleveland, not to vote for Nina Turner. And Susan Sarandon's audition tape was so powerful, and it got leaked somehow that Nina Turner lost. So Susan Sarandon's audition, close second. I'm going to say DNC still edged it out by a little bit. DNC and dark money. Oh, and by the way, GOP money. By the way, Nina Turner's opponent got GOP money. Isn't it hilarious? On Twitter today, it was so funny. Because people are rolling out the Blue No Matter Who crowd is rolling out the old hits of Jill Stein gave us Trump and Russia, and you all gave us Trump and blah, blah, blah. They're accusing other people of giving us Trump. Meanwhile, they're celebrating a candidate who literally got GOP money. You're celebrating a candidate who got GOP money. GOP money! American politics is an absolute toilet. No, it's not. I take that back. Toilets are useful. You shit in them. It is the shit that flies shit out after they eat shit. That is American politics. It is when flies eat shit, which is what they do, the shit that they shit out is American politics. It is our Overton window is absolute trash. It is absolute, like, in any other country, it would be seen as absurd. And the rest of the world is just watching us in horror because we actually play a role on the world stage, so unjustifiably so. We are a parasite amidst the world with what we do. Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, it's So anyway, to make a longer answer longer, DNC and Susan Sarandon's leaked audition tape to the people. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you. You guys make this so fun for me. Thank you, Laura, for your your Rockfin tip. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, Alexander, for your Rockfin tip and for your lovely game that I look forward to every week. I hope you will have a new challenge for me next week. And thank you so much. Podcast by George. Check out Podcast by George, George's podcast. His theme song was made by yours truly for the Super Chat contribution. You help keep the show on the air. And thank you to patrons Nina and Edwin for this week's topics. And last but certainly not least, folks, tour dates. I got them. Go to romplicone.com. Get your tickets. Do not wait. We start in September, and we're going to San Francisco, Sacramento, Los Angeles. We got a hometown show coming up next month. Tempe, Tucson, Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Philly, New York, Washington, D.C., Asheville, North Carolina, Jacksonville, Gainesville, Orlando, Miami, Tampa, Atlanta. We should have some news soon. We're trying to figure that out, but Atlanta has been going slower than we hoped. Nashville, Louisville, Indianapolis, Chicago, Minneapolis, Madison. Don't wait. Get your tickets at romplicone.com. That's romplicone.com. Grab your tickets. Thank you so much. This has been the Patron stream and Rockfin Premium stream. Goes out to everybody live, but the replay is only available on Patreon and Rockfin Premium. If you're interested in becoming a patron, patreon.com/romplicone for a give what you can level. There are no tiers. It is a give what you can level. Even $1 a month goes a long way. You get the replay of this stream and all other patron streams. You get a patron Zoom show once a week. I do a Zoom show just for patrons and Rockfin Premium members, and you can get your own theme song. Life's too short not to have a theme song, and I'll make one for you, all for a give what you can level. In the meantime, you guys know the drill. Lucy, she says meow. And I say peace, and I say love, and I say a general strike. Peace, love, and a general strike. Peace, love. Make sure I didn't miss any chats. And a general strike. Peace. I got to make that song. Peace, love, and a general strike. Peace, love, and a general strike. Doesn't that sound real nice? Have a good week, y'all. Peace.